Hari Om. A small analysis on the concept of Krishna Consciousness. As the name itself says, consciousness means to be aware. Aware in the mind. So as the mind has three consciousness, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. So generally whatever the subconscious mind takes to it, it will return to it. So in the same way, suppose if this conscious mind is aware of the Lord, then all the time, either in the conscious mind or in the unconscious mind, the Lord will be always there. And we can feel His presence. All the time He will be in our thoughts, in our eyes. So whatever we see, we see with His eyes. Or He will make us see with His eyes. And second one, Krishna means there are two syllables. Krishna. Krishna means happiness. Happiness, everlasting happiness, everlasting peace, everlasting joy, everlasting bliss. And Na means always. So always a person who is happy, who is peaceful, who is joyful, who enjoys the bliss, he is aware of the Krishna consciousness. Because there will be no brooding in Krishna consciousness. There will be no lamenting. There will be no regretting. There will be no brooding. Because we are quite aware that when we come into the world itself, we are aware that one day or the other we have to leave the world and go. So one who feels neither the pain nor the pleasure, then he is balanced. So when one can do like that, it is not so easy. Saying of this consciousness is very easy, but it is not so easy as it seems to be. Because we are all the time bound with our senses. So we are so much so bound with our senses that we feel that we are living with the senses only. So we never think that the real consciousness is the Lord of Lords only. And if we can think like that, then every pain or every pleasure, we feel the same. We don't worry about the pains, nor we worry about the pleasures, nor we anticipate the pleasures. Because there is no proper definition for happiness unless we unite with the self. We are aware of the self, which is in turn linked with the Lord of Lords. So going somewhere in search of happiness is a mere waste of time. Because happiness always moves from one object to another and one thing to another, unless it is soul connected, unless it is connected with the soul. Neither a place can give us happiness, nor an object can give us happiness. It is better if we can create the happiness in the very place where we live. It is more welcomed, and there itself the Lord dwells. Because His address itself is happiness, everlasting peace. When such is the case, when we can see Him with our eyes, we can fill our mind with His thoughts, when we can feel the bliss in our heart, when we can enjoy the bliss with our soul, every moment in our life we can experience His presence and we can enjoy the bliss at the very place where we be. So we need not go here and there in search of happiness. So just as Kabir Das said, Lali mere lal ki jit dekhun tit lal, Lali dekhan main bhi ho gayi lal. Very beautiful one. So here what he said is that he went in search of Lord's love to experience the happiness, the joy and bliss into the outside world. And then he understood that the whole world is filled with the happiness or the joy of the Lord of Lords only. Then he understood that one need not go to all the other places for happiness in search of happiness. They can feel happy, they can enjoy the bliss at the very place where they be. So that is Krishna consciousness, the awareness of the Lord all the time. All the time. One thing we can be certain that we cannot live by ourselves. We can live the life by ourselves, but we cannot have the life by ourselves unless it is the grace of God. So when it is the grace of God, when we understand that it is by His grace only we have got this beautiful life, then we can be aware of His presence also. It is His presence in us that we are able to live. Otherwise we cannot live. So this is what we have to understand. And if this we can understand, it is more welcomed that we experience the bliss in each and every act that we do, each and every moment that we live. And whatever happens, it may be, whatever happens, sometimes it gives us pleasure, sometimes it gives us pain, and sometimes we may have to think why it happened like this. So instead of thinking why it happened like this, it happened because it is of His grace. So that is also, it's called that, it is in other words called the prasadeti prasannatha. We take the prasad of God though it is spoiled. We never throw it or stamp with our feet. So in the same way, this beautiful life is given by the Lord. And so every moment we have to spend for Him. Every moment we must visualize Him. Every moment we must see that He lives in us. So unawareingly He lives in us. We know that. But awareingly, that means in our consciousness we must know that, conscious mind must know that it is because of Him that we are able to survive. We are able to do all the activities. So it is actually a concept. So Krishna consciousness is not something that you find in a temple of Lord Krishna or somewhere in ISKCON or somewhere. The consciousness must be in our own mind. The feeling that He is present in us, His presence must be deep in our hearts. It is a profound thought. It is not a vague thought. Just simply we say that it is only because of Him that we are living. No. If we are living, we must be very joyful. Just as in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself told. So, Sitoshna Sukhadukheshu Samasanga Vivarjitha Tulya Ninda Stutirmauni Santushto Ena Kenachit Aniketa Stirmati Bhaktiman Me Priyo Naraha. So, awards or rewards, or some pleasures or pains, If we can take that it is because of His grace only we are getting all these. If we are aware in our mind, then we need not bother about anything. Just as everything comes and goes, life also comes and goes. So, but what we must bother is not about what comes and goes, but before our life gets extinguished, to what extent we could think of Him and being aware that He is everything. He is everything. He is everywhere. He is the breath, He is the death, He is the birth. So B square D. Birth and breath and death. So when we can be aware of these three things, then automatically I think we will know that Krishna consciousness, and then we will feel that every minute we must think of Him, we must surrender at His lotus feet. So whatever the activities we do, so that's what says that work doesn't become worship. Work is not worship as it is, as the saying goes. Work is work only so long it is work. We do this work, we do that work, then we do another work. It is work. But when the fruits of the works we can surrender to that His lotus feet. When we can offer it His lotus feet, the work as well as the fruits, then the work becomes worship. So the real interpretation is that. Not simply saying that work is worship. How many people really think that work is worship? When the people think that work is worship, any work, they will take it as worship only. Then why the brooding will be there? Why the lamenting will be there? Then there will be no lamenting or brooding also if the people take like that. If you feel that work is worship only. Every work will be considered as worship only. But it doesn't happen like that in the real life. Because what we feel is that we are doing this work, sometimes we get frustrated, then we do another work, then that is called transfer of training, again we do. Then we feel that also we get bored. When we really feel that work is worship, when we surrender everything to Him, when we offer everything at His lotus feet, then whatever the work is, we feel very pleasing. We feel very comfortable. Because each and every cell carries Him only. Each and every breath carries Him. When such is the case, each and every work also must carry Him. Or we must catch Him in haath mein, man mein Ram, haath mein Kam. Isn't it? Or let us say in another words, हृदय में राम, मन में ताकत और हाथ में काम. These three together. So when we do like this, we surrender every work to at His lotus feet. We offer everything to Him. And offering is not a word actually. Offering is not a word. So we simply say that offer is a 5-lettered word. But it's not a word. So every thought, every action, every word, every speech, what we say, every activity, every work, every service, we must think that it is only because of Him that we are able to do, and nothing is ours. So we need not feel pride at all. Then we offer everything at His lotus feet. Simple analysis. It is only because of Him we are able to achieve anything. It is only because of Him that we are able to do the works. It is only because of Him we are able to render service. It is only because of Him we are able to do the activities. Then definitely we will offer everything at His lotus feet, because we come empty-handed, again we go empty-handed. What is there to take with us? Nothing. If at all we do good works, good will carry forward, and if we do evil works, evil will be carried forward for the next life. But the person who doesn't want this life and birth cycle, we want to get rid of. As Ramana Maharshi said, freedom is not got unless you think about it, unless you want it. Freedom is not an object for anybody. Salvation is not an object. Salvation is something which you want to have. You want to free yourself from this life and birth cycles. When you want to free yourself from this birth and life cycles, then what you must do? Surrender everything. We don't want either good or bad. We don't want the fruits of anything. If we anticipate for the fruits, and if we leave the world without enjoying the fruits, again next birth we have to be born again to enjoy the fruits. So we don't want fruits at all. So how we must pray to God? Oh God, you have given such a beautiful life, and we are doing the activities. We don't want the fruits of the activities. We only want to do the actions as decreed by you. And we only want salvation. And we trust that you are going to give the salvation for us, because you are surrendering everything at your lotus feet. So this surrendering is very important. It's a profound meaning. Offering at His lotus feet is a profound meaning, where it is not a word as it is already told. It is something which you experience. When you experience this offering at His lotus feet, you feel the bliss, you feel the joy, you experience the bliss in the innermost of your hearts, and then you feel that nothing more we got. This life is already given, it is a boon for us, and now we live the life. Every second, every breath, every cell, we live. And we offer at His lotus feet, we surrender. That is the real surrender actually. Surrender is not something you keep something in your mind and say with your lips that you are surrendering everything. You experience the joy, you experience the bliss, because we are living in a materialistic world. We can't run away from the materialistic world and say that we have surrendered everything. That's what the renunciation says. Renunciation says that you don't go run away from your responsibilities or from your duties or from your activities and go somewhere, say that you have renounced. Just as all the persons who have covered with orange robes, they are not sannyasis. So sannyasi is someone who actually robed their mind with the orange orchard robes. The mind must be detached. So the fruits, they must detach from the fruits. That is real Krishna consciousness. If one can do that, he can experience the bliss anytime. Anytime. There is no time. There is no time for experiencing the bliss. So this is in brief the Krishna consciousness. So I am just trying to explain. I don't know. This is what